Hello folks, welcome to Art Obsession Studio, and here I'm breaking down a painting I just did for a show. I'm going to show you some clips, compilation, and then I'll just discuss what I did at the end of it. Please click the like button and subscribe to help this video out. Thank you. Enjoy. Well, here we are. Very fast motion so that you can see me working on the sky. This is primarily cobalt blue. I've concocted a little bit of a purple there, and I'm not sure exactly what the heck I did to do that, but that could be a magenta, I think, that I had right out of the tube, and I just put it right on that little palette to get started because I know I'm going to blow the sky in, and then I'm going to clear a space for me to start working on the rest of the colors that you're about to see when I get lower down into the buildings. At the end of the video, I'll tell you how I draw this stuff out. It's very tedious, so I didn't bother putting it out on the video because it takes me a long time. I have to look at the picture, and I kind of measure things, and I hold a ruler up, and I figure, well, the skyline meets about here. It's almost the lowest part of the sky is about 50% of the canvas, right where the vanishing point would be, almost, 50. Sky sits probably at about 45% left of the canvas and the rest below, and just angles. So it's not perfect to the to what you see in the photograph, but it's pretty close. There's a lot of improvisation, especially in the background toward the vanishing point. But yeah, this is just kind of working in that sky and keeping in mind the clouds. The clouds are very subtle, and I'm adding my own little bit of color to the clouds. They're kind of more blue, I guess, but I wanted kind of a pinky purpley kind of hue in some of those clouds, so I wanted to kind of change it up a little bit, more of a to what I believe is a winter sky, and maybe some snow clouds in the distance, and then of course now I'm putting in the light. The sun has just set not long ago. It's dusk, and that's the kind of feeling I want to create in the sky. Okay, here if you see me bopping, it's because I'm listening to music. And anyways, we're going to get those colors in, get those values in right away. This is probably the most rewarding part of the painting after doing all the hard work of sketching in where you want everything to go. It's now putting in those values, because this is where your painting starts to come to life a little bit, starts to make sense. So you'll see me working on that. I'm constantly looking back at my reference photograph to make sure that I've got the colors right and they're going in the right places, and sometimes they don't, and you have to kind of grab another slab of paint and just put it right in there, and keep going until it starts to feel right. Clean the brushes off on that rag, and then away I go with working on those colors inside the shop store. This is a very exciting part because I get to the bright lights from inside. We're using a lemon yellow in here. I believe a little bit of Viridian is going to come in soon. There's some cad yellow that's going to go in there. So if I have the color out, you'll notice I apply it to different places in the painting as well, because it appears in different places. So I can work with that color all over the painting, actually, in a lot of different places. One of the joys of working with oil paints is that they stay wet long, so if you suddenly have a second thought of putting it somewhere else, you can, and always be referencing. If you have a photograph you're painting from, or if you're on location, keep staring at what you're doing, and just take what you see and place it right there before you. The next thing you know, you'll have an image come to life, and it starts to feel rewarding, especially in these contrasts. Little details in the bottom there, you can see every chance I get, if I see something, stab away at it, and then I'll see something else and I'll stab away at that. And then we got some of the color that's going in there, and the snow starts to appear. Finally, we get to work with that. So much fun. Um, and I just get the rough parts in. Here you go. Now we got some snow going, and you notice that the snow piles, piles of snow, you'll see the way that I work those. They're like little miniature mountain Rocky Mountain ranges or whatever. And it doesn't matter how big the pile of snow is. It's like a little mountain, and you want to treat it like that when you paint it. It shouldn't be a lot of work. Oh, pile of snow. What's that going to look like? Well, it's a little mountain, so paint it like a mountain. There you go. And the next thing you know, it looks very good. Yeah, nature's like that. When we look at nature, we see these images and shapes, and there you go. And then we'll just keep working on some of these colors and get the trees, rough in the bark, and we'll move on. Just take that bark, you notice how that just kind of goes right in there naturally, and you can leave little spots here and there. And love working with these snowy scenes. Now I got to get the automobile kind of sketched in here a little bit, and there's going to be a car there. I've never really been that great at it, so I have to really take a close look. But once you see it, and then you start to really pay attention to what you're looking at, it makes sense. And the light shining from the headlights and this sort of thing. There's a lot of improvisation when I paint. I'll take some of that color now, and I'll put it all over the place because it's one of the highlights. And we're starting to create some glow. And I'll even put some in the background, get some Viridian on that post. Yeah, so like I was saying before, lots of improvisation here in the background. There is some colors that are true to life in the lineup of stores, and some of the lit windows and stuff. Some of that stuff is, I have to admit, is I kind of make it up. I look at the painting, I look at the picture or my guidance, whatever it is, and I go with that. Now I'm working on the branches of the tree. I got to be careful here not to get carried away because it's an impressionist painting. So the detail I've got going on in the foreground, there has to be a gradient that diminishes as I go into the background. So I can't overdo these trees. There has to be it's got to be a perfect balance of detail there in the midground as to the foreground. And so, but lots of fun putting branches in. I don't know what it is about branches. I just love drawing in branches. I can work all day on branches. So now I think we're getting on mostly with the finer details of finishing up now. We'll see some more branch work going on, some highlights on the branches, some highlights, maybe some snow on the branches and things like this. And this is where all the little fine details that finish a painting come in this stage right here. So I'll be paying attention to what I see, and again, not overdoing it. It takes a discipline, especially for somebody like me that loves to draw branches. I could just, like I say, keep going and ruin the painting literally. So I have to be very careful with that. Okay, well, you saw me whipping through this and in the other clips, and I put this all together. This painting is it's for a show, which is a spring show coming up in Sydney, British Columbia, and it's this wonderful old store front and these old business frontages in Sydney, British Columbia.
And so it was a snowy week, you might say, and we get one almost every year here. So that's what this is based on. But you saw me painting it off an image on my laptop. So I took a picture with my phone at night on a walk, and then I put it up on my laptop, and I sat my laptop over to the side, just like working from a photograph, or if you were on location, but it was too cold to be on location. And one of the reasons I'm not plein air painting right now, because it's raining out, and it hasn't stopped raining for, it seems like weeks. But anyways, I'm hoping it'll stop. And this is the wet coast. So anyways, just this is all intents and purposes, it's complete. So and how I know that is I usually hang it on a wall, and I stare at it for a long time, and I just I kind of work my way across, up and down, and I ask myself questions about each of the brush strokes and the effect that I was looking for, and am I happy just leaving this kind of hazed in for the headlight glow on the pavement from the vehicle and the reflections in the glass? And it's like, yeah, actually I feel really good about that, and on the back of the sign, and I've used Viridian in there. I love Viridian to give that fluorescent-y kind of glow. It's just an amazing color for tinting and whatnot. And I have a little tube of it here, Viridian Hue. This one is Winton, I guess. Anyway, a Winsor Newton product, but you can get it. Everybody makes Viridian, and it's used in here again, and I just love it. Look at what it's done with lemon yellow and some Viridian accents inside the store, coming out, giving that glowing look of the fluorescent lights inside the store coming out, and then some of the highlights in the snow. So anyway, this is what I paint. This is how I paint, and it's what I like to paint. And anyway, here's the finished product. But yeah, just discussing it a little bit. As you saw, I started on a canvas where I had black gessoed the canvas, so not a white canvas, but a black canvas, which is really good. I lay out the painting, and I draw it out. And when I draw it out, I look for things like, for instance, this roof line right here, and I take a look at it in the photograph, and I go, okay, well, that's, there's 20% of the surface area here for sky before we hit the peak. So, you kind of start there, and then, you're going to slope this way because you're looking at the drawing. So it's actually pretty easy, and you have slopes here and here. And you can hold your palette up if you like when you make these lines. I have a straight edge ruler that I use, and again, the gesso is dry. So you just, small brush like this, use some of the ochre with white. In some cases, I actually used some of the colors that I would find glowing on these trees, and light blues and some viridians to draw in some of these different aspects. And then I went in afterwards, and I did let that dry. By the way, I worked mostly wet on wet, but I did let that dry. I did let it set up before I got back into it. I didn't want to blur or smudge my draw lines, so that way when you're dealing with things like this where there's a lot of architecture, and you really have to draw it out first. Well, you don't have to. Every artist has their own expression and their own style, but it's what I chose to do. So there you have it. But probably used no more than 12 different tubes of paint on my palette, I think, to create this. So that gives you a bit of an idea. There was some cobalt blue in the sky. There's French ultramarine and cobalt blue, both in the snow, plus little bits of black, some raw umber, I believe. And yeah, there you have it. Oh, so if you appreciate the artwork here and some of what I'm doing and some of the lessons that I'm providing, please like the video by pushing that little thumbs up and click the subscribe button, and it helps the video be located or found or presented to other people, so that they can get something out of the videos as well. Okay, more to come later, and I still can't get out to do plein air painting because it's raining all the time. I'm not going to go out in the rain, but soon I'll be getting out there. But I think next, coming up, I'm going to do some knife painting. I'm going to paint with knives, something I don't do a lot of, but I like it when I do it, so I'll share with you what I know about it, and it'll be one of those things where you want to leave comments on tips to train me on knife painting. Go ahead, because I'm more of a brushes guy. I do use knives a little bit, and I certainly liked using them when I was a kid, and I'll talk more about that in the knife painting video. Anyway, thank you very much. Like and subscribe to help this channel out, and I really appreciate your support.